Yo, when I first got the news about Mark Sanchez being arrested, it didn't sound really real. It didn't. This is a former NFL quarterback that played with the Jets, and he was with other teams prior to it. It didn't sound realistic. But after the backstory of it and stuff, it's like, oh wow, you put yourself in a position really for you to be arrested. The guy that he got into the altercation with is an older guy in his 60s, and they have pictures of him, and he's injured bad. Scar everywhere, just cuts everywhere. They got a picture of him actually in the hospital, just bruised up everywhere and stuff. And it's just like it when you hear certain news, it's like it don't sound believable. You got to see like the proof behind it. But for him to be, like I said, he played in the NFL before. He is a former NFL quarterback. To not really hear any negative things about him throughout the years or even after he left the NFL stage and just, left from playing the game, you didn't really hear much about Mark. You didn't. Now all of a sudden, we just hear about him. It just popped up out of nowhere. This is like breaking news. Breaking news, y'all. And it's like, I mean, he's been on the quiet side, and now all of a sudden he's going to be talked about because of what has happened. All because of what has happened. So let's dive into ESPN and see what they had to say about this. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez is now facing a felony battery charge for what authorities said Monday was a fight over a parking dispute, in addition to the misdemeanor charges that Fox Sports analyst was already facing from the weekend incident in Indianapolis. So obviously, it started over a parking spot, which I don't get that. There's so many parking spots around. Like, why you feel like you gotta have the main one that's always by the door? Why you feel like you gotta have that parking space? Because it's not called for. It's not. This is why people park further away and then they just go into the store instead of trying to park so close. And like I said, Mark, you get into it with like a 60-year-old guy, like let Pawpaw have the parking space. Let Grandpa have the parking space. Like it shouldn't even be a fight over there. No, I'll put in first. No, I mean, see that's what starts this, and that's what starts slicing. That's what starts all of that. I was here first. No, you saw me pull in. Come on, y'all. Really? Come on now. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears announced a new charge of battery involving serious bodily injury, which carries a potential sentence of 1 to 6 years in prison during a news conference with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Chief Chris Bailey. Mears said the investigation is ongoing and that additional charges are possible. We are literally talking about people fighting over a parking space and or a dispute about where people are parking, and it resulted in someone receiving just incredibly significant injuries. The prosecutor told reporters, "Yeah, like I said, it don't even need to be that serious. You saw me pull in first. No, you saw me come on now. It don't matter. There's parking spaces everywhere. There's parking spaces everywhere. You just want to get close to the front, and that ain't always called for. It's not." A police affidavit alleges that the 38-year-old Sanchez, smelling of alcohol, accosted 69-year-old truck driver Perry Toll, who backed into a hotel loading dock in downtown Indianapolis, leading to a confrontation early Saturday outside the vehicle that prompted the driver to pull out a knife to defend himself. So, Mark, you smelling them alcohol. You probably had a bottle in your hand, probably drinking, and you stumbled over to where this truck driver was with him by the loading dock. You done stumbled over there. And now him being an older age guy, he sees somebody walking and stumbling with a drink, you know, Papa gonna want to defend himself. Grandpa's gonna want to defend himself. So that prompted him to pull the knife out. Like you can't really get upset with that. If I'm walking like just wobbling or whatever, and I obviously got a drink in my hand, and I'm walking in a direction, I'm really not clear in the direction. And then there's somebody right there or people standing around and like, what's this? What's this? You're gonna pull out some kind of weapon to defend you. He had a right to do that. Mr. Toll, Mr. Perry Toll, he had a right to pull it out. Like, come on, Mark, why are you doing all of that? Like you, at least it should have been the people around you if you were going to be drinking or whatever the case is, because it said you were smelling of alcohol. You should have had people around you been like, hey, Mark, come back this because you know we've all been there. You got that one friend or you got the friends, they dream, they stumble, they just be walking all everywhere, and then you got to try to grab them so they don't go too far. I don't know where your homies was at, Mark, but that's what they should have did. I mean, you done stumbled over across this old man, just the area that he was in. You done stumbled all over there, and now you put him in a position to be scared. You put him in a position to pull out some kind of weapon to defend himself. You caused that, Mark. You did. The former New York Jets quarterback was pepper sprayed and stabbed multiple times during an altercation, according to court's records filed Sunday. And of course, stabbing either party, whether it was Mark doing stabbing or the guy or they both do it, that doesn't make things any better. It doesn't. Because people are gonna end up calling the police. And now you got two sides, two people telling their side. You know, the fact that he was stabbed multiple times, yeah, those injury wounds they killers. They hurt. But like I said, you put yourself in a position to make him do that. Had you not stumbled in that direction where he was, you wouldn't have got stabbed. You wouldn't have had a knife put out on you or anything like that. You know, let this be a lesson learned, Mark. You let this be a lesson learned. It became clear after investigators learned more about Toll's medical condition that the more serious charge was warranted, Muir said. This was a situation that did not need to occur, the prosecutor said. The allegations involve a 38-year-old man becoming involved in an altercation with a 69-year-old man who sustained significant and very severe injuries as a result of that altercation. Sanchez was hospitalized with stab wounds to his upper right torso. The initial affidavit signed by police detectives said Toll had a cut on his left cheek, it said. Authorities have not said whether Toll might also face charges, but Mears noted that Indiana has some of the most robust self-defense laws in the nation. Oh, and it's true. They really, really do. So both of them are injured. But Mark was the one that got arrested. Should the old man be arrested? Yeah, yeah. If you want to look at it like that, yeah, he could. But Mark, I guess they're looking at more so you a little bit younger versus like you going up against like an old man. Y'all are in an altercation, stabbing each other, or just going or just getting at each other, whatever you want to call it. They looking at like Mark, like, yeah, he a little bit older, whatever, but you know better. You know, you've been in that line, like you know better. That's why they arrested him and not even an old man, from what I think caused it, the age gap, because he's younger. They looking at the old man. They're gonna arrest Mark versus him. They're gonna do that. Toll has filed a lawsuit against Sanchez and Fox Corporate for a compensative, sorry, how do you say that word? Okay, compensatory and punitive damages. All these big words, goodness. Court costs and any other relief to be determined in a jury trial. The suit says that Toll has sustained severe permanent disfigurement, loss of function, other physical injuries, emotional distress, and other damages due to Sanchez's alleged actions. He says Fox should have known about Sanchez's unfitness as an employee, propensity for drinking and or harmful conduct, and he says it failed to supervise him in a capacity as an employee. Of course, of course. Whenever something good always happens, there's always a negative effect that kind of creeps up behind. I mean, he was about to get his contract. Now all of a sudden you're stabbed and you're arrested. Like, Make that make sense. I gotta scratch my head literally for that. Like, make it make sense, y'all, for real. In an email, Fox Sports declined to comment on the lawsuit. Sanchez's attorney in his criminal case has declined to comment, and attorneys representing Toll did not immediately return calls seeking comment. Sanchez has been scheduled for a hearing Tuesday on the original misdemeanor charges, but that was rescheduled to November 4th. Sanchez remained hospitalized and was listed in stable condition Monday morning. That's good to that. All praises he didn't leave and he didn't, it wasn't worse. This has been a deeply distressing time for everyone involved. Mark and our family are incredibly grateful for the concern, love, and support we received over the past few days. Nick Sanchez, Mark Sanchez's brother, said in a statement on behalf of the family. Mark remains under medical care for the serious injuries he sustained and is focused on his recovery as the legal process continues. We would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to the first responders and medical team. Okay, so his brother, spoke on his behalf. So he is still in the hospital. Thank God nothing just worse happened. But, sometimes we put ourselves in positions for bad and negative outcomes to happen. Like I said, and with him drinking, that does not make the situation better, Mark. It don't make the situation better at all, man. It really don't. Really, really don't. The prosecutor said police are still gathering information and have several outstanding search warrants. He also said surveillance video captured the incidents from multiple angles. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care where you live. The police chief said, if you come into our city, commit violence, we will use all the tools at our disposal to hold you accountable. Like most cities should have that saying and should do that. Mark Sanchez was in Indianapolis as part of the broadcast crew for the network's coverage of Sunday's game between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Fox Sports play-by-play announcer Chris Myers acknowledged Sanchez's absence Sunday before introducing Sanchez's replacement, Brady Quinn. Myers said he wanted to send thoughts and prayers to Sanchez and everyone involved in the accident. Sanchez has played 8 seasons in the NFL after being selected 5th by the Jets in 2009, draft out of USC. He helped the Jets advance to back-to-back AFC Championship games in his first 2 seasons. He also played for the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and Washington, the team he last appeared in a regular season game for in 2018. He appeared on ABC and ESPN for 2 years before joining Fox Sports as a game analysis in 2021. So, Mark, since he possibly will be arrested, I guess. I don't know how long he's going to do time. It might not even really just be that long. Like I said, he was about to join the broadcast crew. And now you got this altercation that you're dealing with. You know, like I said, thank God nothing worse happened or it was any more worse severe injuries that took place. So being hospitalized, really both of them, it's what's needed right now. But I mean, like I said, we gotta be careful putting ourselves in certain situations, y'all, because look at what happened. Mark, he didn't even think that this was just ever gonna happen. Well, it did. It did, Mark. And shoot, let this be a lesson learned. Grandpa, I mean, you let it be a lesson learned too and stuff. I mean, I know you were being more so just kind of protecting yourself because this is and you know what? He probably didn't even recognize that was Mark Sanchez. He probably didn't recognize that. It could have been dark, whatever the case is, whatever time all of this took place. All we know is that it was some stabbing going on, some wounds, some bleeding, internal, external, all of that. We know all of that was taking place, but. Yeah, he probably didn't even recognize it was Mark Sanchez because if he would have said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." Nah. So, he obviously didn't recognize him. But like I said, them being hospitalized, this is what's needed, y'all. It's what's needed. So I hope they just continue to get better, get out hospitalized, and whatever has to happen at the trial, at the court house, whatever got to happen, shoot, just let it happen. Let it play out, okay? If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a fat thumbs up. Comment down below what you think of this video. While you're at it, share this channel, hit the subscribe button, and turn your notification bell on. That way you can be notified every time I drop videos on this channel. You guys stay prayed up. I'll see you next time.